good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another collaboration here on my channel. And I have a really powerful brother. He's an up and coming YouTuber, but I'm gonna let him introduce who he is and what his channel is about.
All right. Well, my name is Mike, the Developing Dad. My channel is, I guess, there's a lot of different things that I'm trying to do, but mainly I'm trying to engage the manosphere with the gospel. Like, that's basically, if you want to boil it down to that, I'm trying to present Jesus Christ into the manosphere, right? But I want to do it in an engaging way. My channel is basically geared towards me talking as if I was speaking to my sons, right? I'm married. I have 5 kids, 3 sons, 2 daughters, and I want them to be married, right? Now, I would like for them to marry, someone who's black. But what I'm seeing, like, I've been watching the Manosphere content for the past 2 months, and what I'm seeing is very unlikely, right? If things don't switch up, if they don't change pretty soon, that they will be able to do that. So my channel is designed basically for me to have a conversation with my sons. After every video, my sons come into my room and they ask me, Dad, can we watch the next video? Dad, can we watch your next video? Right? They're 16, 11, and 10, and they want to watch the videos. They like watching Manosphere content, and they're like sitting there, finding logical fallacies and stuff like that. But that's what my channel is about. I'm just trying to engage the content, same content that guys like O'Shea and Kevin Samuels are engaging, but just engaging it from a Christian perspective.
Okay, so and give him a round of applause, editors. So I found you a few days ago because you actually had it tagged my name or written my name, or you responded to a video I wrote, and I was like, "Who is this dude?" It was like Ricky Smiley a little bit. And so when I looked, I said, "Okay." I watched it. I said, "Wow, this is a pretty interesting perspective." And here in our space, it has diversified over time. And one of the things I never thought would happen is a lot of Protestant Christian men raised in predominantly the black church, it would be Kojic or National Baptist or Progressive Baptist, that they would watch us because a lot of times we feel like a lot of women are being entitled, and they're being taught that from the pulpit, which is kind of bringing them against African American men in marriage. But I'm noticing that a lot of black men that are from the church are gravitating towards this space, even if they're married. Why is that?
So I think you hit the nail on the head. One of the things, so I've been watching the content for the past 2 months, and I noticed, I think I came in watching like Abba and Preach, and then Poor Man's Podcast, and then I found Kevin Samuels, and I found you, and I started kind of peeling it all back, and I realized something. There's a thread, right, between all of you all, traditional values. All of you were raised in the church. And I said, this is something that we need to explore. Like, all of you guys have Christian backgrounds, and that's one of the reasons why you're so passionate about marriage and about the black community. So why not take the opportunity to come into that space and say, look, yeah, this is what you guys are actually looking for. Like, Christ has the answer. I think part of the reason why black men are starting to take, and like you said, you hit the nail on the head, church is effeminate now. It used to be that men were the ones who were leading the church. Now, most of the church is women, right? Kevin Samuels actually, I remember him talking about this one time. He was in church and he said he had all the single men stand up, right? The pastor had all the single men stand up, and it was like, like maybe 20 to 30 of them. And then he said, all right, now all the single ladies stand up, and it was like 120, 200 women. And he said, now go get them, ladies, right? So that mindset is where these women are being congregated to prey on these men, and they're without. And I think one of the things that you mentioned in a video that you did recently that I'm actually trying to highlight as well is that a lot of these men are taking advantage of these women. Like, these pastors are taking advantage of these women. They know that these women have buying power. They know that they're easily susceptible, and they can be manipulated. I'm just being honest. Like, Eve was deceived first and then gave the fruit to Adam. The woman was deceived by the serpent, not the man, right? So, and these men come in as snake oil salesmen, as serpents, to deceive these women. And then you get these women listening to these pastors, and these men, the men who are not in the church anymore, are like, nah, this is my house. I'm not gonna let the pastor run my house, right? So you get men leaving the church, which leaves the women even more open to deception by these mega church pastors, these big name black pastors, and that's where you see that myth being perpetuated. Again, part of the reason why in 1960, 1970 we started to see this split. We saw because the pastors wouldn't stand up against what the government was trying to do to our communities. And we're like today we're at the tail end of all of that garbage that was just, pumped into us. You didn't see black mega churches until the 80s and 90s. That was a direct correlation to the fact that women and men were starting to split, and women needed a place to go where they felt encouraged and confirmed in what they believed. And that's why most mega churches are full of women.
Oh,
Have you ever noticed it? Yeah, full of women.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you this, because you're in the church. A lot of black pastors that have come on, I've talked to, they have realized that black men have left the church. And one of the things I'm let me just kind of ask this: the things that you hear the Black Manosphere complaining about what's going on in the black community, do you feel that these are things that men are missing from church pastors that are not being said because of corruption or not wanting to, piss off female members? But that is because I know your channel, you be going hard, brother. Like I be feeling like it's fire, like Jesus gonna jump off the cross and just start whooping people in the head with stuff. When you be going in, brother. But what do you mean? Do you believe that what the guys are over here saying is something that black pastors are not saying, but they're scared to say it?
Absolutely, 100%. I actually have a video on my channel, actually 2 videos on my channel, where I actually make that argument, right? That one of the reasons why I think is Dave Chappelle, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Samuels are more relevant than black pastors is because they're willing to say things that black pastors are not willing to say, right? Because black pastors, most of their membership is women, so you don't want to mess with your money, right? So you're not going to make those women upset. You're going to make sure that you're telling them things that reaffirm the things that they already believe. If you know that the paradigm that they hold says that they're the best thing since sliced bread, that they're the reason why the black community is where it is today, that women are strong, women are powerful, women are this, you're going to keep promoting that. You see it from pastors, you see it from black leaders like Steve Harvey, like writing books about act like a woman, think like a man. I don't even know the name of the title, but whatever.
Yes,
you see T.D. Jakes writing a book, Woman Thou Art Loose. Most of these books are geared towards their consumer, women. And then you have the Black Manosphere coming in. Kevin Samuels goes from relative obscurity to 1.25 million followers, mostly men, mostly black men. Right, because they're not getting this stuff from the church. Poor Man Podcast last year, I've been watching him just kind of his rise from what he's like. It's a crazy goal, but it's my goal, and he was 1,000 subscribers, and then he's like the crazy goal, but it's my goal, 2,000 subscribers, and then it's like now he's at 200,000 subscribers, and that took less than a year. Right,
bigger than me. Yeah,
that because people want that message, and they're not getting it from the pulpit. And one of the reasons why, again, I just joined the Manosphere like maybe 2 months ago, right? And I actually started posting a couple of months ago, but I just started listening, and I started thinking, man, this is stuff that I've been saying in my home for years, right? This is stuff that I pulled from the scripture, gleaned from the scripture. Man, I've memorized 15 books of the Bible. This is where I've gotten this from. This is not about me getting this from anywhere else but from the scriptures. And now I'm like, yeah, the Manosphere is on to something, because men are tired of being emasculated, especially black men. Right? We've been emasculated by white men for years, and now we're getting it from the women who are supposed to be next to us, and then we got black men who are taking advantage of that. Right? So it's like we're getting it from all these different sides, and it's like it's time for these men. That's what the Manosphere is basically like. Men are tired; they're standing up.
Let me ask you this, because as a Christian man, and most Christian men, at least. Well, it was different, when I was coming up, because I'm 40, and that was kind of the last of the big mamas, the dying breed, the 6 p.m. Baptist Training Union.
Oh, come on.
A little bit more conservative, at that time, where the man was the head of the household, and Granddaddy kind of really said, and he was going to say it, and if she didn't like it, that's how it was going to be. Went from that era to now, if you ever say anything about women now, it's you're a woman hater, you're a misogynist. Okay. Now, obviously, I do believe that there are some misogynist sort of concepts that could happen in the Black Manosphere, but from you listening to the Black Manosphere from the majority of the time, and I know that some people can be associated and say they are and they're not, but do you feel that a lot of guys that you listen to that they hate Black women? That there's a what do you feel as a Black man that you love your wife, you have children? Are we the kind of guys that you feel that we just don't love Black women and we hate them?
Absolutely not, right? So again, you just mentioned it, right? Going back, maybe what, you're 40, I'm 43, right? The idea that I grew up with an old school Black Baptist pastor. I was baptized at 7, right? This man is still preaching right now in his 80s. Okay, our church was the men led and the women followed. That's what I saw. I saw it in my own house. My parents have been married for over 40 years, 40 plus years, longer than I've been alive, right? And that's what the household that I saw was, right? My dad led, my mom followed, right? And in so doing, that's how we built Black communities up. Right? We may not have. I make this argument on another video of mine that we see the idea that we were at the bottom of all the economic metrics, but we were at the top prior to 1960 of all the ethical metrics. Why was that? It was because men led and women followed. Then fast forward to today, women are leading now, and we're at the bottom of all of the economic metrics and also down at the bottom of all of the moral metrics, right? So have we really won since women have been in control? And again, the manosphere is just trying to. This is the issue, right? People have built this model in their mind. They have a paradigm, right? For a generation, they've been taught, be independent, get your bag. Women are the future is female. All of these other feminist ideologies, right? And then the Black Manosphere comes and they're giving them facts that don't support that, right? You see, Kevin Samuels just walks people down in conversations, and you're witnessing at that moment cognitive dissonance. There are facts that are being presented to me that don't fit my paradigm. So what do I need to do? I've got to find a way to ignore it, or I've got to find a way to reinterpret it into something that. That's why you'll hear them say, "That's just your opinion." Well, that's a nice opinion. Well, like, these are facts. What are you talking about? But that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a cognitive dissonance on a large scale, and that's why the accusations are coming that you all hate Black women, because it's the easiest thing to do. It's just deny.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question. Not to put you on the spot or anything like that, but you've been looking at, because you also have some content. If people go look at it, it's some of it can be considered scathing. I mean, it's in a very nice way, but if you listen to what you're saying, it is "thus saith the Lord," and it is fire and brimstone type of stuff. Like, I'm just gonna be real. This is not the Christianity you expect today. You're gonna get your flowers, the streets of gold. No, this is 1965 citywide revival. Good Street Baptist Reverend Caesar A. Clark, you're gonna get this work. That's what he's preaching on this channel. Okay, I'm just gonna be real. If it's that real old school, Jesus gonna come get you in your sleep type of stuff, this is what he's talking about. All right, this is no just being real. This is what it feels like when I listen to it. I want to ask you this, because you come from that era of thinking, and you're like me. You're a younger man, but you're from the old school. You get that. Okay, we not old. We
right.
Far from being young, not young. But looking in today's generation, a lot of Black men, if you listen to my channel, a lot of them are not marrying. Most of them are still marrying in African American community, but you have this big migration outside the Black community, not just with African American men, but some of the other brothers coming from Nigerian American guys, whatever. Yeah. And there's something that's going wrong that these Black men are seeing that's making them go to some place where they feel the women have more traditional values.
Yeah.
Are you concerned also, as a Black man in a Christian church in a Black city, that this is also going to be happening more often?
Absolutely. Like, one of the reasons why my channel exists, and I'm very forthright about this, right? I'm forthcoming. The idea is I have 5 children. I have 3 sons, 2 daughters, right? My sons are the oldest, my daughters are the youngest. my desire is for them to marry someone first who's godly, right? That's primary, right? But I would also, because I know socially it would be a lot easier for them if they married someone who was of the same ethnicity, I would like for them to marry someone of the same ethnicity, right? And I see what's happening in the culture is that more like the young women who are of the same ethnicity do not have the traditional values. They're being socialized and conditioned to believe that the thought life is the life for them. Right. They're being conditioned by television, music, movies, social media. All of these outlets are constantly shaping their model, shaping their paradigm so that they are unfit for marriage. My son doesn't even, like my oldest son doesn't even look at young black women. He doesn't, because the young black women that are around him are unsuitable for the things that we're teaching him. He understands implicitly that these women aren't for him. And it's not something that I've taught him, because my wife is black, right? He sees his mother. He loves his mother. He knows what type of woman his mother is, and he wants a woman like her. But there are very few young black women. My wife was raised by her grandparents, and they come from that old. Her grandfather was a pastor. Her grandmother was a mother of the church. Her grandmother taught her everything. She keeps my home immaculately, right? She does all of these wonderful things that I couldn't do by myself. I want my children to find that kind of woman, but are those type of women being trained? And I don't see it. That's one of the reasons why my channel exists. That's one of the reasons why I come straight from the Bible, straight from the Bible, no chaser. That's what you're going to get from me, because I know that that's what changed my wife and I.
I want to talk about that, because I have an episode coming out about, as high earning black men, what's one of the problems that I'm seeing is that, once you start to get to a certain level in life, and usually elevate, you see that these a lot of black women that are also elevating on the same economic level, but as far as the relationship status level, as far as the nurturing and working at that's still going to be a big issue. So the more money as they're making, those skills are not being developed, right? We talk about that a lot. But let me kind of transition to this. How do people feel? Because you are a Christian man, and you're over here talking to us. And I know that Kevin Samuels, we were kind of an unknown community before Kevin Samuels kind of put us out there, the Black Manosphere and his associates, right? Some people knew about us on Black YouTube for sure. But, Kevin has put the spotlight on a lot of creators, whether we want it or not. And I know a lot of people don't like us, especially in the liberal in communities. What do people feel about you associating and having a conversation with the Black Manosphere and black men about what's going on in the church today?
So I'm already getting a little bit of pushback. Now I know it's probably going to, now that when this interview comes out, I'm pretty sure it's going to get, it's going to get a little bit worse. But again, my hope, and I know that there are people who are going to disagree with me from the Manosphere's perspective, because I'm straight Bible, no chaser, right? There are people who will not agree with that. But I'm also expecting that I'm going to get pushback from the Christian community that says that I didn't even be talking to you all, right? Because you're godless, right? You're heathens. You don't follow the Bible. You advocate all of these other, these ideas. And I'm already hearing that. I have some, people who are actually posting videos against you all already, and I haven't even gotten really deep into the Manosphere, and my channel isn't that big yet. But if it gets larger, which is the hope, I'm going to be engaging content with you all more and more often. Hopefully, I'm interviewing you all, and it's a cross-platform thing. I understand that that's going to happen. There are already people. I know there's a video up that says why you should not listen to Kevin Samuels, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah, and it's from a Christian perspective, like as a Christian guy who's already saying that, right? And the video was poorly done, because it was a smear campaign, right? It took the very worst of what could possibly be said about him, and it highlighted that, and it completely ignored the good things that he's trying to do, right? His stated purpose. Right. So I see that a lot of that. And I've even on the video that I did about the review about you, I had somebody come into the comments and called into question my Christianity because I was talking to you. And I said, well, it's a good thing that I don't need to worry. It's a good thing I don't get my get my value from YouTube commenters. I was like, I don't care what you say about me. Right. Like I after I turn this camera off, I'm going to talk to my wife. I'm going to raise my children. I'm going, like, my wife and I started a Christian school. We're active in our church. We're constantly doing things. I'm not worried about what these people say about me, man. I've got to have thick skin to be able to do what I'm doing, because I know that I'm going to get it from both sides.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, because a lot of black men, not that black men don't believe in God. We obviously, I think black men are more likely to be, let's say, atheists or agnostic, men in general, than women are. More guys are more, because I think men are more likely to question ideas and things like that. But you have a lot of guys that are in the church, and they believe that the church doesn't want them there. You see a lot of different ministries that are in some mega churches. There's sometimes more than 20 or 30. And it seems like the men's ministries are always underfunded, or there's no idea. Yeah, and Kevin was talking about that also. And so a lot of black men have kind of given up on the black church in general. They feel that there's no hope for them. And then I think that alongside with that goes a disseminating belief in Jesus Christ. For those brothers out there that have a lot of contention for the black church, and you're still involved, but you still see the problems. What are some of the reasons that you think that what the church can do to win African American men back into the fold, and to develop the men's ministry for those who want to believe and be a part of that community? What can the black church do?
So I think it's very simple, man. I think I said it in 2 videos ago. I said we've got to get back to the scriptures. One of the things that I noticed, and this is something that my wife and I, when we came out of the black church, and then we started to really assess what we have been taught, it was truncated, right? So the idea is you're getting a truncated piece of what the Bible is supposed to be about, right? 2 Timothy 3:16 says, the word of God, the scriptures, all scriptures are breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete or perfect, equipped for every good work. Now, ask yourself, as a black Christian, did you get taught like that? Did you get taught that the way that you love your wife is based on the way Christ loved the church? Did you get taught that the way that you handle your finances are a reflection of how God has stewarded resources towards you? Did you get taught that everything that you need to know about raising children, about loving your wife, about being a man of high character and virtue and value, like even the type of woman that you should be, Proverbs 31:1-31, all of this stuff is found in the scriptures. You can go to the Bible, and if you use your mind, you can actually pull out everything that you need to know for life and godliness, right? Is it going to tell you how to, what my job is? I'm a software developer. No, it doesn't tell me how to code, but it tells me how to be ethical in my job. It tells me to work as unto the Lord. It tells me to do so in such a way that honors God, so that when people see me, they know he works hard because Jesus Christ is in him, right? So if we get back to teaching that, you will get black men back into the church, because one thing that the manosphere is helping people to recognize is that men want to be men. Men want to lead. Men want to be the head. Where do they get that idea from? Because Adam was created first and then Eve. Christ loves the church. Christ is head. Christ is Lord. That's the whole purpose. The telos of life is 2 Corinthians 1:20 says that all the promises of God find their yes in Jesus. So I can go and find anything that God promised good to me. I can go and find it in Jesus, right? I can find out how to love my wife well. I can find out how to work well. I can find out, because Jesus did the work of the Father perfectly. If you think about all of this stuff, have you been taught that from the pulpit? Have you been taught that in your Sunday school class? Have you been taught that anywhere else? Because in the black church, what has happened is that the teaching has become truncated. So men realize, oh wait, they're not about me. They're not about teaching me what I the main thing that I've seen in sermons that I preach, whenever I preach a sermon, or whenever I give a talk or a lesson, when I go from doctrine to practice, people always come to me and they ask, how do you get that? How do you get from the scriptures what you're supposed to do? I know what I'm supposed to believe, but what am I supposed to do? And I'm saying, it's right there. You just need to be taught what it is and what thus said the Lord about what you should do. Like, I go through lists of scriptures and I'll tell people, how are you supposed to raise your kids? We go through Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 7. We go through Ephesians 6, 4. We go through Colossians 2:33. We go through Proverbs 13:24. We go through Proverbs 23:13. I mean, I can, because again, all of this stuff is in my head because I had to know it. And I have to know it because I want to please God. Right. So if men were to be able, if churches would start to do that, would say, men, come in, we're going to teach you how to be a man. We're going to teach you, we're going to have men around you that'll teach you how to not just do doctrinal things, but also practical things. Like we're going to get together and fix a car together. We're going to get together. Right. We're going to get together. We're going to teach you how to treat water. So just in case these people act super stupid crazy, right, and they turn our water off, we know how to treat water. We know how to grow our own food. We know how to do all of this stuff because we're men. Right. And that's what we do. And right now it's like the church is effeminate and is not capable of doing that because we lost so much of it. And then partly I think is because a lot of those things were taken away from the black community because a community that's dependent is easier to control.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's definitely true. And especially the black men being emasculated. That's why you see so many black men. Well, Lil Nas X, right? So we leave that alone. But you talked about. I know you had this really good video about what China is doing with their men.
Yes,
stopping the porn, and that's a really powerful. I got to do a whole new talk on that about that because that was a really really good. I know you don't have that much time, but let me just before we go. I always ask a person, what is it that Dr. Deacon Developing Dad? What is it that they should do? If somebody wants to subscribe, why should they subscribe to the Developing Dad YouTube channel?
All right, simply, I think it's one reason and one reason alone. I'm gonna tell you this, and I know my Christian brothers are gonna love this. You should subscribe to me, because Jesus is Lord. Simple as that, right? But if you want to hear that message, I think you should come and listen to me and see if what I'm saying about Jesus being Lord and diving into the scriptures and giving you the why behind what we see happening in the culture. If that squares with reality. Come and check my paradigm. Come and check my model and see if it has explanatory power. See if I can explain to you the why behind the way things are, and then explain to you why we can change it and how we can change it. So that's my pitch. All
right, we'll give him a round of applause for that. He's a really talented creator. I can tell with a different spin. I wouldn't be surprised, if I'm gonna work with the brother. Put my blessings on him. Nothing evil though, because don't worry about it. But he's a really. I think he has a really interesting content perspective. I think there's definitely an audience for what he talks about and what he does. I love what he does because it resonates with me. And yes, and it is that good old "Thus saith the Lord."
Come on,
okay, you're gonna get that, or you're gonna definitely get that over there. So if you're not into that, don't go. But if you like it, it's definitely he's over there teaching the word a lot. So I know Kevin will definitely watch this. He'll get a kick out of it, because Kevin likes stuff like that. He will definitely gonna watch this. He ain't gonna comment. He gonna call me. That brother Developing Dad, he made a lot of good points. I like him. So guys, make sure you go to the first comment pin at the top, subscribe to our brother, hit the bell, and as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.